Hey everybody, welcome to the Harvest Valley Life podcast. This is a podcast that goes deeper into the life of the church. We explore relevant topics, discuss updates, and share real life stories to both encourage and inspire you in your faith. Let's dive right in and get started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope that you are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Harvest Valley Life podcast. Man, I hope that you're having a good day. And I'm really excited for the next series of our conversations. As many of you know, we've been in this process of our governance and appointing elders and directors. And over the next several, I would say even maybe months, we want to just sit down with what we call our elders and directors. And we want to have an opportunity for you to get to know them personally. And so we're going to have a lot of fun with these. And I'm excited for our very first elder interview. And so I just want to welcome to the show, Nathan Aakre. Come on. Hey, man.
Randy.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, thanks so much for being our first interview, man. Elder number one.
It's a lot of pressure.
Man, they were setting the bar high, man. So however this goes, you're just setting the bar.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Oh, that's good, man. No, but it's honestly a joy, man. It's a joy to have you on Harvest Valley Life, and it's a joy just to have you in the church family. And we have asked you to serve as one of our elders at Harvest Valley Church. And so I just want to say a big thank you on behalf of even the church family for saying yes to this calling. It's a big deal.
Yeah, man. We love being at Harvest Valley Church. Such great families, such great people. We love listening to you preach every Sunday. It's an honor to be part of this. So
that's amazing. That's awesome. Well, your family's a gift. You're a gift, and I just want to say thank you for taking your time just to be able to do this. And the whole point of these interviews is just for the church family, just give them an opportunity just to get to know you personally and your family as well. And because I think just it's important for us to know who our leadership is in the days ahead. So just take a few minutes, tell us about yourself, tell us about your family. We'd love to hear that.
Yeah. I grew up in a small farm community, a couple hours north of here, farm kid growing up. Ended up going to college in Valley City. And after college, didn't really know what to do next. Ended up moving here, met Brittany that summer, my wife, and ended up getting married a couple years later. And we've been around here ever since then. And we now have, we live southwest of Moorhead, kind of out towards the Barnesville area, and we have four kids, which keep us going. We have a almost 11-year-old Charlotte. We got a 9-year-old Marshall, 7-year-old Graham, and 5-year-old Judah, and they're a blast. They're busy doing all the things, so we get to chase them around and watch them grow up and hopefully do the best job we can being their mom and dad. And so we, Brittany and I, have helped in kids church. Brittany's in there almost every week, seems like, hanging out with the kids. And then she pulls me in there every few weeks too. And we've been in there. If you've seen us in there, since day one. And we love hanging out with all your kids and seeing the parents every week. So it's great.
I love it, man. So we've known you for quite a few years, and I just appreciate, man, just how you guys are just great parents. And I love just the intentionality that you have as a dad, just to lean into your kids. And you do some coaching, right, on the side, right, with your kids?
I would consider that like my part-time job. That's almost a full-time job. Yeah, the kids always want dad to coach, and so cool. And dad always wants to be the coach anyway, so it kind of works out well. And so we get to coach some basketball and flag football and baseball and all. It's I don't know who has more fun with youth sports, my kids or me. It's I love it.
That's so good, man. I love, man, that you're such a good dad. You really do inspire me with that. And I just appreciate how involved and how much you guys lean in as a family. And Harvest Valley's been around, I would say, for about 4 years from the very beginning, before we launched. And you said Judas 5. And man, it's been fun to see that little guy grow up. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy to think about that. He was a little baby when when you guys first moved here. That's time flies, man.
It does, man. It's been fun to see him grow up, and always with a snack in hand, and trying to hang in there with everybody else. It's been fun.
Yeah, snacks are his passion. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's so good. So tell us a little about just maybe interest. What does Nathan Aakre enjoy doing in life?
Oh man, boy, I love coaching my kids. We've touched on that.
Come on.
I grew up playing all the sports, and so I love. The other night we got to have men's night over at Rustad, and got to play a little basketball again and get the lungs working again.
Let's go.
My brother moved home a few years ago to take over the farm with my dad. So him and my dad farm up by Stephen, Minnesota still, and they allow me to come up and help with harvest every year. So I like to do a little farming when they let me do that with them. But yeah, Brittany and I just love doing family stuff together as much as possible. Almost to the point where it might be a problem, like we're always together doing stuff, but we just love it. We love it. The kids, they wear us out, but it's they're only little once, and we've tried to embrace that and try not to wish for the next season before this season's over. And that's easier said than done. Sometimes we can have to tell ourselves that often, but we love doing stuff with the kids. But I love hanging out with other guys too, like learning from other dads, and getting coffee with someone and letting someone give me some wisdom and and encourage each other too. So if anybody ever wants to have lunch or have coffee or something, I'm always game for that. So
there you go. I love that, man. And you do a little hunting.
Oh man.
As well.
So for the first 36 years of my life, probably, I would make fun of hunters completely, and never got into it. My dad did a little hunting back in the day, and but by the time I was old enough to, we had just had other stuff going on, and he kind of let it go. And in 2020, when we were all looking for stuff to do, I'm going to learn how to bow hunt. So the last handful of years, I've slowly been learning how to be a hunter.
That's awesome,
and it's a blast. So I like to do a little fishing, a little hunting, and I'm total amateur at both, but it's a blast.
Man, I think you've been pretty successful, man. You have quite the name in the deer community.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Aakre.
Yeah.
If there's such a thing as deer community.
Yeah, it's I never knew how much fun it would be to learn something new, like whatever it is. Like I'm learning to learn new things, and it's a blast. So
man, that's so good. I heard something recently about that with leadership is continually putting yourself in a position of learning, humbling yourself to grow. And so that I just appreciate that you do that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you first get connected with Harvest Valley? Like what was that original connection for you?
Yeah, we knew you guys a little bit back in the day, when you guys were at First Assembly doing Canvas, and you interned and you worked with my father-in-law for quite a few years, if I remember right. And so back in 2020, my wife got a call from one of her friends that lived out by you guys, and had started going to your church, and she said, yeah, the Honeys are coming back to Fargo to plant a church. And she told me, I was like, boy, we're not in the spot where we're going to start, church hopping or anything like that. And so
right.
that was kind of the end of the conversation. And within a month or two later, just multiple things, we just felt the Lord kind of tugging on our hearts to think twice about it. And I think I called you one day and just kind of asked you a bunch of questions. And from there, it was just kind of like taking the next step, one step at a time. And eventually we just got to the point where we really felt like this is what we were supposed to do, is to jump in and start something new and support you guys however you needed support. And so the first thing was have a picnic at our house for whoever wanted to meet Randy and Ann. So
that's wild.
Yeah. And so it's just been kind of one foot in front of the other since then. And keep whatever the next step is, keep doing it until the door closes. So, and it's just been a great journey. And, I can say for myself, I've grown immensely since that day. And, it's been great for our whole family for sure.
I love it, man. It's funny you mentioned that moment at your house. You hosted the first interest gathering, and those are just moments you're like, you cook some food and then people show up, and it's was
crazy.
So cool, man, just to see people just like show up, and for us to like have no idea what we're doing, but we're saying we're planting a church, and do you guys want to join us? And you guys, man, have been so awesome. Just day one, your support, your encouragement, and even Brittany, like we were just almost weeks out from launching, and she really stepped in and got the kids ministry rolling and going. And you guys have just been such a blessing. And I just want to say thank you for that, and I remember recently we did like almost like a camp out with some guys, and you were there, and I think we were sitting on the fire. I remember that. And we were just like how some of the guys, or maybe we were driving there, how some of these guys, a majority of them got to Harvest Valley. And it was because of your influence. And it was because you worked with them, you invited them, you encouraged them. And that's what I know about you, man. You're just, I don't know if you would see yourself this way, but you're just bold in your ask and just the encouragement that you bring. And it's exactly what men need to help take that next step. So I've seen that in your life over and over again. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man. I once had a job where I had to sell something, and I didn't believe in the product, and it was really hard to sell it.
Yeah.
But I've always thought, like, when you believe in something, you don't have to sell it. It just kind of flows out of your heart when you believe in something like that. So we just get so excited about, we love the church. We love the people, and you can't keep it inside sometimes. So it's great.
That's so good. You do that so well. I appreciate that. So tell us about your faith journey. Like, how did you become a Christian? How did you come to know Christ?
Yeah. I'm 41 years old. And for the longest time, for most of my life, I've thought, man, people give their testimonies at things. And I think, oh man, what's my testimony? Because I wasn't someone that battled addictions and came, the Lord swooped me out of something, something like that. And I can't remember who I was talking to, maybe in the last year or two. And I was explaining that, like, how do I tell my testimony? What is my testimony? Yeah. And we started talking, and I grew up where both of my parents, all of my grandparents, their parents and their parents, just generations of family where a love for Jesus was passed down from one generation to the next. Yeah. And I think that's my testimony. I tell people I think I've had a pretty easy life, actually. But part of it is because growing up, my parents were rock solid examples. Like I saw them reading their Bibles. I saw them praying. They prayed with us. We went to church every Sunday. They were involved. They were engaged. They were living out their faith.
That's amazing.
And not only them, but my grandparents on both sides, grandparents on down, aunts and uncles, cousins. Like, wow. Like I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a very high percentage of from my grandparents on down on both sides are
Yeah.
serving the Lord and have their whole life.
Yeah.
And so I would say I grew up in that. That's all I've ever known.
Wow.
And I think over time, as I've gotten older, um, my faith has gone from, okay, I know all the things.
Right.
I've heard all the things. I know all the verses. I know all the stories. I know the right answer to all the questions. Right.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older and actually started to go through things in life where I've needed the Lord,
Yeah.
times where you
That's
get
good.
to the point where you just can't, there's nothing else you can do as a
Yeah.
human. And you start to realize, wow, okay,
Mm.
here's stuff that I need God to deliver me from, or here's
Yeah.
where I need God's help. And and my faith has grown. It's
Yeah.
been kind of like a long, slow burn.
Sure.
But that generational impact that my family has had definitely set me up with
Yeah.
such a firm foundation that this is just normal life to
Wow.
me. Is we worship the Lord, we live
Mm.
for Him, and this is what we do. Like
Yeah.
as I was talking to my friend Jack one day, and this was a couple years ago, just after 2020 is, it was around that time, and we were talking about, he just said, he told his family one day, okay, guys, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Like, that's it.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the choice.
Yeah.
And so, and that's been the choice for generations in my family. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm very fortunate for sure.
I love that, man. That's so good. And I love the generational impact that your family had, that your grandparents had, and that you're having with your kids. And it's just, that's going to continue on. And that's so
Yeah.
evident. I love it. It's powerful.
Yep.
Would you say maybe there's a particular maybe book or person that has been instrumental in your development or your growth in your walk with the Lord? Any book, a resource, or person come to mind for you?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and yeah, I got a bookshelf behind me. If you're watching this,
Yeah.
with a whole bunch of books, it's not. There's books up there. Most of them are like sports biographies where I read about old sports. But so I wish I could say there was a book, but I was
Yeah.
thinking, a couple people stood out to me. First being my dad. Like, my dad is just such a consistent, solid, just man of God.
Yeah.
And the example that he set I grew up with three brothers. There were four of us boys. And
Sure.
like, just what an example of how to live, how to speak, how to treat your family, how to provide for your family, how to work, and how to serve the Lord, and how not to get too high and too low. Like, he basically started a farm from scratch in the 80s when farming was rough. Farming was rough in the 80s, and he just never complains. He's faithful to his family. He's faithful to the Lord. So, like, that example, I think, is the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
And then just multiple guys in my life, like dads, that have just encouraged me and invited me to lunch and just poured into me. I think, Randy, you used a phrase a couple years ago. I think maybe it was when we were going through launch meetings that stuck with me. Wanting to spur each other on. And I often think of that, like, there's been so many guys in my life, men, that do it right. They do it right. And they've spurred me on and encouraged me. And, even someone like, I have a friend right now that I coach a lot with, and he texts me this summer one day, and he's like, hey, do you want to, it was right before, it was in May. So he said, hey, every day in June, let's read a chapter in Proverbs and text each other, like something that jumps out at us or whatever. And so he got a group of guys together, just
Wow.
like encouraging that consistency in life, being in the Word, and spurring us on. So there's just been multiple dads. I can name them if you want, but
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
four. Yeah, someone like Joe Larson.
Oh, come on.
Joe Larson was my boss. He goes to our
Yep.
church.
Yep.
Just like I want to be like him when I grow up.
Yeah.
He's
Totally.
such a great dad, such a great leader, so wise. He raised 3 great kids that are just
Yeah.
like crushing it.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I want to be like him. Someone like my friend Jack. He's
Yeah. That's awesome.
just as generous as can be.
Yeah.
Just encouraging.
Mm.
Guys like Ben Jacobson, man,
Yeah.
Nate Douglas, Nate Leadout. Like these
Yeah.
guys have
Come on.
been in my life for a long time.
So good.
I've been fortunate to have men that have been in my life now for years, that have just consistently been there.
Wow.
To help go through life with me, and spur me on. So I'm grateful for all those guys, and I'm probably forgetting 30 more that I should be naming off right now. But
I love it. That's so good, man. I think that's so key of how we're not meant to do this life alone, that we really do need men and just people to spur us on. And I love that you mentioned that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Nick, when you think about serving as an elder at Harvest Valley Church, like what's your hope? As you think about this for yourself, like what's your hope as you serve in this role?
Yeah, I think some of those terms that we've talked about, like, I hope I can spur other people on. I hope I can be someone that encourages someone else to be engaged, be both with others and with the Lord. I hope I can be a good example of what it should look like to be a husband and a dad, and someone that prays for people and is willing to do that, and willing to go to whatever lengths to help each other out, to spur each other on.
I love that. That's so good. I appreciate that. And I just want to affirm that the reason you're in this role is because we see that in your life 100%, that you are a good dad, and you're a good husband. You love the church well. And just want to affirm that. When you think of Harvest Valley Church, what comes to mind?
Oh man, community. I think our kids have to drag us out on Sunday mornings when we're trying to get out the door, just because we love catching up with all the people every Sunday. And it's been I think the church has been such a great community of families that are living life together and building each other up, and setting examples for each other. And that's the first thing that jumps out at me. One thing that I talk about all the time when people ask about Harvest Valley is just your commitment to the Bible. Like, I brag all the time to people that we go through books of the Bible over the course of years. Like, I don't know how long we've been in Acts, but it feels like since 2021 or something.
It's been a bit.
But I love that. Like, what better, like, why wouldn't we do that? It seems so obvious, but so so refreshing every Sunday. Like, I can't wait till the next chunk of Acts or whatever. We were in Ephesians, and we've gone through a few of them now, but like, I just so look forward to just digging in and learning, and taking it one step at a time through a book of the Bible. And that's just so foundational, and it's been so great for our family. And I hope everyone just appreciates that as much as we do. So
that's so good, man. I appreciate that. Just kind of a last thing for you, as you are going to be serving as an elder for our church, what's your word of encouragement for people? The elder role is very much more of like a pastoral role. You were just helping spiritually lead this church, and we do this collectively as a team. But what's your encouragement as you just look out? As you come to church on Sunday, what's your hope? What's your hope for the people at Harvest Valley?
Yeah. Without sounding like a salesman again, one of our values is to make disciples, and under that, I think I pulled it up here because I was looking at it, and one of them is to be engaged. And I think about, so quick example. This friend of mine that I coach with, he actually doesn't even go to our church. We've just become friends from coaching kids. And this August, I was sitting in the tractor, just minding my own business, living my own life. And he texted me and said, "Hey, a group of 4 or 5 of us guys are going to go through this Bible study, and we're going to memorize scripture, we're going to read through the word, and we're going to meet once a week. We're going to talk about it. We're going to journal." And it was this big commitment. Wow. And my mind immediately went to, okay, I got to think of a good excuse now that I can't do this. Like, I got to think of a good one. And but I was, just like the Lord was just prompting me, like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop making excuses. Like, this is what you need in your life.
So good.
And so I would say, for anyone listening, like, listen to the Lord's prompting, get engaged, be willing to say yes, be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Man, I think of all the times I've said no to the Lord's prompting, the times I've said yes, like, the reward is always there. Brittany talked in the podcast last week, or they were talking about, working in kids church. Like, you think you're there to minister to the kids, but us people that are there, us adults that are there, are getting ministered to by the kids. Like, be engaged, get involved. If the Lord's prompting you to be part of something, if the Lord's prompting you to go to men's night at Rustad and play a little pickleball or basketball, just go. Be engaged, get involved, get to know people at church. You always talk about, introduce yourself to someone on the way out, someone you didn't know. Do it. Just don't turn back. Just do it. Get engaged, and you won't regret it. As scary as something might be, you won't regret it. As big a sacrifice as something might be, the time commitment to volunteer, be on the kids team, like, you won't regret it. You'll be rewarded for sure.
Yeah, I think that's such gold. I just appreciate you for saying that. And one thing that we often say at Harvest Valley is it's not something Harvest Valley is not a place we attend, it's a place we belong to. And I just echo what you said, man. I just want people to feel like they belong, they can get connected and be a part of it. But like you said, there's that first initial step that could be so hard to take. So thanks for speaking into that. And Nathan, I just, as we close, I just want to say a big thank you, man. Thanks for loving the church well. Thanks for setting the example of faith and conduct, and thanks for just loving the church, and thanks for being a good friend. And I just look forward to going on this journey with you. So thank you.
Man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, Randy.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you, man. Hey, Harvest Valley, we just want to say thanks again for listening in, and be sure to tune in as we continue to get to know our elders and directors. And we know that God has good things for us as we move forward in faith. God bless you guys.